Essie, I want to ask you about this fascinating part of the Quinnipiac poll. They asked voters around the country, what's the first word that comes to mind when you think of blank candidate? For Hillary Clinton, there are a lot of words, if you look at the word cloud they did, including, you can look for it in there, woman, experience, and strong. But the number one word was liar, the number two word was dishonest, and the number three word was untrustworthy. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if Donald Trump is the nominee, will that matter?
Oh, wow. Well, look, they'd both bring a certain amount of baggage to a general election. I can't still wrap my mind around Donald Trump getting that far. But this is Hillary's main problem. It's not just the granular sort of email story or that scandal or this calling Republicans terrorists. I mean, that's a problem. This is the problem, that people don't like her. They don't think she's trustworthy. That matters. That's why Bernie Sanders is coming up. That's why Joe Biden, who hasn't even announced that he's going to get in the race, is now polling as well as he is. They're looking for an alternative, and despite the fact that the DNC has put all of their efforts into Hillary Clinton, Democrats, progressive, first-time caucus goers in Iowa are saying we want someone else. So until she recognizes that this is her problem.
You all are salivating too early. I need another cup of coffee. Look, let me just be very blunt with you. The word cloud, really, I think the visibility, whenever you have a word cloud like that, when you have the poll leaning, I don't quibble with polls because I think polls are irrelevant. But if we are going to make them relevant, let's make sure we say that those are the words that Republicans use to describe Hillary Clinton. She's still very popular within the Democratic Party. I think she's still very popular within the American electorate. She has work to do. She has a lot of homework to do.
Young voters are leaving her. Young women are leaving her.
No, they're not. They're
Who are the
taking a
voters that are leaving?
pause.
Look, she is struggling within the Democratic Party with progressive people who generally support anti-establishment candidates. There's a long tradition of this.
Yes.
Howard Dean, Bill Bradley, Gary Hart. The only one who's ever been able to pull it off was Barack Obama, because he could build a broader coalition than the traditional left-wing anti-establishment candidate. She has work to do. Donna's exactly right. But we should not undersell the fact that right now she is by far the most likely person to be the Democratic nominee and most likely person to be the next president of the United States.
Then why are we talking about Joe Biden? You can't tell me that she's doing as well as she is within the party, and we're talking about bringing in a 74-year-old man who has lost this election twice.
Joe Biden is a very beloved figure. And I agree with Secretary Clinton, who says that he deserved time to make up his mind. I hope to talk to him. I hope many Democrats will talk to him. It's not about running or not running, because Joe Biden is the leader of our party and the leader of our country.
Look at what's going on in Iowa.
We're going to take a quick break.
Look at what's going on in Iowa. What does Hillary have? 47 paid staff or something like that? She doesn't have a lot of endorsements. She doesn't have a big game.
She has Tom
grand
Harkin.
game.
Tom Vilsack.
She has all the Vilsack. She's got a lot of endorsements.
Well,
Christy Vilsack.
but
that's not her issue, right? The establishment backing her is not the issue.
That's not the issue.
But what she also does not have is younger people that are coming in to support her. And that is not there. You look at the interest, that is going to Bernie Sanders. And I think that's a problem for Hillary Clinton. Passionate voters vote. And those that are not sold totally on somebody do not show up. And that is going to be a problem for her going into Iowa.
There is a 12-point enthusiasm gap in that poll between Sanders at the top and Clinton below.